And I think sometimes we fail to realize that how do we build legacy? One of the tools is income. How do we get that income? One of the tools to get our income is have a solid career. And you all honestly did some creative stuff in tech area that has produced income. Gio, you're 21. Andre, how old are you? 40?
40.
Man, you 40, man. Brother don't look like you 40. You know Brother, he got swag for days, boy. You know what I'm saying? But I want to start with you, Gio, because I was shocked that you told me that you went to school, got your bachelor's degree in the medical space with the long-term goal of being a doctor.
Yeah.
But then you stopped and you said, nah, I want to get into tech. Take me back from the very beginning, brother, because I don't know too many 20, 21-year-olds who's going to stop pursuing being a physical doctor, you know what I'm saying, to get into the tech industry. Where did that come from? Like, where did the tech spark in you to leave becoming a doctor? Because let's be honest, it's not just about the money that people pursue the doctor. It's the fact that you can say you're Dr. Gio. You know, at 21, when you tell a girl, yeah, my name is Dr. Gio. You know what I'm saying? That just added a different swag to a young man's, you know what I'm saying? So help me understand, bro, why? Why did you go from doctor into the tech industry?
Well, the reason I started to be a doctor in the first place goes back to high school and just school in general. I was great at math and science.
Okay.
And when people see that about you, oh, bro, you should be a doctor. You should go into STEM. I was like, okay, that's what I do, because I like it because I'm good at it, and people will respect me because I'm good at it. So I went to school doing great grades, man, absolutely great grades throughout math and science. And then as I'm enjoying college, the senior year hits, I'm like, I can't do this again next year. And so I think about it. I say, you know, maybe it won't be that bad. And then this is literally May. It hits me in May. I'm like, man, I got to like find something to do a month from now, because I don't want to wait 10, 12 years to start making money, go through all these, I guess, general courses to finally focus on the field I want to focus on. There's so much, I just can't see a possibility where I would be happy in the end. And so the first thing you do is just look up, I guess, high-paying remote jobs online. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the first thing people do. And I got my Chinese in my hand. It's the start of May, and I find your video on YouTube. So I'm sitting here eating it, watching it. Literally, it's about 8 p.m. right now. It's very interesting because I'm gonna just be honest. The reason I clicked on your video and the reason I watched all the way through is because you're black, like me. And of course, I'm not saying that someone who's not black can't give you the same advice, but because you are black, I felt like you understand what I'd be going through, understand the world I live in. So I go in, I'm still hesitant about purchasing the course because that money is a lot for you as a college student who's working at Amazon. So you know what, I'm gonna wait on it. Literally, the next morning I wake up at 6 a.m., the first thing I did was buy course careers.
Are you serious?
The first thing I did was buy course careers.
You are in school, medical degree, and you buy course careers.
Yep.
Because you were fearful of graduating and not having any income.
That, I was afraid of the income. I was also afraid of starting on a path it would be hard for me to break off of and I wouldn't enjoy.
I ain't never heard someone say pursuing a doctor degree and pursuing that process, I wouldn't enjoy it. And I wonder how many people are pursuing that knowing that they will not enjoy it, but they're still doing it. One, because of the income that looks good on the opposite side, but then two, because it just looks good, but internally they're not happy. You know? And while you were talking, I was looking up, just make sure I'm speaking factual information. I didn't know that the average doctor who graduates throughout the process, the average doctor graduates with over $200,000 in student loans.
Eesh.
The average doctor starts off making about $120 to $170 a year. But they went through about 9 years of school. So they're going to be in their late 20s, you know what I'm saying, to early 30s, graduating with about $200,000. This is not all, this is the average. So there's some who graduate with zero, depending on their circumstances. And then there's a lot who graduate with $500,000, depending on what kind of doctor you're trying to be. But you, I'm curious, how much did you graduate with when it comes to student loans?
Zero.
Zero. You went to school for free.
Well, I mean, throughout scholarships, and then my dad was in the military, so there was a lot of benefits.
You got the GI Bill and stuff like that.
Way. Yeah, a lot of benefits coming. So grateful for that.
Yeah. So parents set you up right.
They set me up right.
You were smart, and you were stewarding your high school season right, to where clearly you had good grades and stuff like that. Then you got the grant scholarships and follow GI Bill. Go to school. You're not borrowing any money, but then you're realizing like, yo, I could go down this path and I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, though. Let's have this conversation. How did your parents feel? How did your parents feel? Like, you know what, Mom? Mom, Dad, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to get into the tech world. Like, when you had that conversation with your parents, with loved ones, how did you feel about that?
Well, my dad had a feeling something was going on. I think just because he knows me and he's had a similar life growing up to where he didn't know what he wanted to do. So when I came to him, he said, okay, it's about time that, I figured out what was really going on.
Okay.
But then with my mother, she's, of course, telling people, okay, my son wants to be a doctor. This has been something in the works since I was like, 13, 14, entering high school, all the way up to May, your senior year of college?
Yeah, Dad.
What?
Yeah, Dad.
Mom was heartbroken.
Heartbroken. So was the conversation easy with your mom, or was it a little difficult?
It was a difficult start. It was a very difficult start, just because you're receiving information. I don't want to do what I've set out to do for the past 4 years of my life. And you're about to complete your degree. It's like, well, what's gonna happen next? So why not? Why don't you want to do this? So start with lots of questions, which is very natural. But I do have a very understanding mother.
Yeah.
So after a day or two, we were able to talk things out. Well, what do you want to do now? I don't know. Well, why do you want to stop? Well, just because I don't want to wait all this time to make money. I don't know if I will be happy doing it, even though I'm good at it. After a conversation, they said, okay, well, you need to find something, and you need to come back to us and tell us what your plan is going to be.
I like that, boy. I like that, man. I think one part that I love about your story, and I want to get Andre's thoughts because he has 2 kids, and I'm curious to see as a father and with his amazing wife who's out in the lobby watching the show right now, how would they respond? But I think, isn't it funny that sometimes children follow the dreams that their parents kind of edged them to do? And we never really took the opportunity to ask our son, to ask our daughter, okay, wait, not about me, not about your dad, what do you want to do? And then check in with them like 2 years later. Hey, what do you want to do? I'm curious because I want you to give us some practical things for the people right now. There are some people right now who are pursuing something and they know that's not what they really want to do, but they're scared to have that conversation. Maybe scared to have the conversation with their spouse. Maybe scared to have the conversation with their loved ones, their family members. What would you say is like the number one thing they should do to start that conversation with loved ones if they want to transition and they know it may hurt them a little bit? Like it hurt your mom and dad, but they got through it. It was your life. But what is one thing that you did to set up the conversation with your parents? I'm curious.
I think for people in my situation who want to talk to somebody they love about transition to something new, they need to set up a practical transition that they can explain to them. Because if you tell them the good news or the great news and you leave them on a cliffhanger, how do you think they're gonna feel? How do you think they're gonna feel? And so before I went full on, here's exactly how I feel and here's what's gonna fall up afterwards, I said I gotta find something new. That's when I ran into your video with Cyrus.
Okay.
I saw Course Careers, did a lot of research on the boot camps and stuff. I decided this was the best one.
Okay.
And then after that, I told them the news. There's all that heartbreak and emotions and stuff. And then after that, I'm able to transition right into, but this is the next step.
That's good. And I think that's important, especially for married people.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know you and your wife went through not a similar transition, but y'all went through a transition period. I'm curious, man, talk to us about your transition because I think transitioning is always hard.
Yes, it is.
You know, and I want to go back. What would you say because how old are your kids?
16 and 12.
16 and 12. So what does your 16-year-old want to do right now?
He's still figuring it out.
Okay, he is.
And that was part of our motivation for me and my wife going through our thing was we wanted to set our family up financially to where when our kids are this age, they have the freedom to explore.
Ooh, that's so
and then they have a safe place to land if it doesn't go well.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so that was part of the motivation for us going through what we went through over the past 2 years. It's just how do we get to something different? We need something different. I wasn't in a situation where, hey, I want to try something different. I was in a situation like, no, something has to change.